Hello everybody and welcome back to the Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep final mix playthrough. It is time to visit the wonder that is the Radiant Garden. Because as Master Xehanort said, this is very likely to be where Vanitas is likely to hit next. And we're definitely going to be facing a lot of Unversed here. And actually quite a few rather challenging Unversed at that.
Unversed. This can only mean Master Xehanort was right.
Pretty much! And what's really awesome is that... So the way that Birth by Sleep is structured is that effectively you have the first three worlds. Radiant Garden acts as the midpoint of the game, and then you sort of have your final batch of worlds. So this pretty much is a little bit more heavily weighted on the second half of the game, but this is pretty much your halfway marker. And it's certainly a point where you're going to want to make sure that you have leveled up reasonably well, particularly with Terra, because he is going to arguably have the greatest challenge with the fight that is going to occur. Well, both of the fights actually that are going to occur in this very chapter in this very world. And also you've got these Unversed, which are absolute buggers, because if you attack them from the front, while they take damage, they gradually inflate, and what ends up happening is that if you hit them 3 times, then they'll go into this sort of invincible mode where they're just going to roll around and attack you until they blow up. The way to kind of avoid that is to make sure that you get behind them and hit that valve that's very obviously on their backs, because what that'll do is that'll deflate them, and that'll allow you to make progress. Now, you can do things like shotlocks to try and get out of the way of things, but really you've just got to make do with these particular enemies, because they are an absolute bugger. Let's see if I can actually get the name of all the Unversed, because they're sort of the one enemy types which I've always been really bad at knowing the names of. Like, pretty much I know the names of a lot of the Heartless and a lot of the Nobodies. But in terms of the actual enemies of the Unversed, it's always been really, really poor in terms of my knowledge. So, the scraggly things are the Flood, the soldier-esque ones are the Scrappers, the ones that look like large bodies are Bruisers. Then those big things that inflate, they're Tank Topplers. So yeah, they're a little bit of a nightmare. We're also going to be introduced to a few other slightly challenging enemies throughout this particular world. We're going to meet the Mandrakes, which are constantly flinging things at you and are stuck underground, so you can't actually hit them until you get close. Chrono Twister, which likes to trigger stop on you, that's a delight. And then there's also the boss that is going to be coming, so that's a delight. And you are very limited in where you can go, but Radiant Garden is definitely the largest of the worlds that you're going to be visiting. I mean, it feels like the largest, and I think that's because with all of the areas that you visit, this has got some of the biggest wide open spaces in the game. Because like I look at it and just go, yeah, like this courtyard is bigger than what feels like a lot of the other areas. It's probably about the same size, really, but it feels bigger, and really that's what's important. And hey, it's Merlin!
This address exactly.
Oh, it's always good to see Merlin about. He's just a kooky delight.
Excuse me, Your Elderness.
And also, what sort of title is your
I believe you have this
Elderness?
book.
Why don't you just say,
Did I?
Sir, or...
I'm very sad to say
really
this is
sorry
one
you
of
seem to have
mine,
dropped this, but hey.
remarkable book it is. This unassuming volume seems to have the unusual effect of awakening one's innermost abilities.
A book that makes people stronger? If it's all right, Your Elderness, might I have a closer look?
The name is Merlin. I'm a powerful wizard, and I'll have you know a lot of wisdom comes with age. Anyway, as I said, the book is not mine, but I'd be happy to keep it here for you.
Thank you, Merlin.
So, for starters, there is also a chest in here, which is very important. But, if we investigate the 100 Acre Wood book, then we get the delight that is the command board for the 100 Acre Wood, which is great, because that means that we get to get more stuff, and I love it. Now, while we go exploring, I mean, there's this lovely gent who is travelling through the world, and really need to chase up on that because, like, seriously, that's a massive unversed and we don't want it running about everywhere. But it's going to take us a little while to get to him, and I might as well, you know, go into a little bit more trivia than what I have been doing, because obviously this is a non-Disney world and therefore there's not so much Disney to go around. But there's been a lot of cut content from Kingdom Hearts over the years. Apparently Bahamut was originally going to be in the original Kingdom Hearts game as a summon, Pride Lands was going to be there, you're actually going to get to play in Disney Castle, but that never happened. There was also a different logo that clearly changed as time went on. But Birth by Sleep has got a few key things. The sort of one of the biggest ones actually was there was going to be a Jungle Book world, and you can still actually access the bare bones of the world using cheat codes and hacking and so on and so forth. There's a couple of areas, including King Louis's throne room. So it was going to appear. I'm not quite sure why it didn't end up happening. I suspect it was probably something to do with rights or some such. But hey, and I mean, really, I'm not overly fussed about that because The Jungle Book is not necessarily one of my favourite Disney films in the whole wide world. Like, I love a little bit of Bare Necessities and I Want to Be Like You, but that's about it with The Jungle Book that I'm down to play with. And also, I mean, I watched the live action Jungle Book and was not most enthused by it. I thought I was going to be maybe a little bit more excited, but it didn't happen. That's just the way these things roll sometimes. And there's also a character who got cut who I'll talk about when we get to A New World, because spoilers, God! And there's also a lot of cutscenes and maps that changed throughout development. So certain cutscenes in early trailers, like Master Xehanort revealing something of some sort, was actually going to be at a world that's just going to appear in the next batch, rather than in a very special place. There's also a few scenes which were omitted, which I can't actually go into. But also there's individual lines which change, so there's one line which was something to do with Terra telling Aqua that searching for the light that Master Xehanort is after will lead them to him. But that's sort of about that. There's also early gameplay demos and trailers showing Terra on the bridge in Enchanted Dominion, and it's covered in thorns, but clearly that never happens to Terra. And also some worlds had areas that are inaccessible to some of the characters in the game's final version, so Ven was able to go to the palace courtyard in the Castle of Dreams, which he isn't actually able to do in his story, and Terra is able to get to the cottage of the Dwarf Woodland, but clearly he can't do that either. There was also... so you'll get to see a bit of it right towards the end of Terra's story, and I might do a bit more of it towards the end of Aqua's story, because I'm probably going to spend a bit more time levelling Aqua up for reasons that will become very obvious to anyone who's actually played the game before, but also for reasons that will become obvious as soon as we get to those points. But the Mirage Arena, which is the thing that's all the way off to the left of the world map, was originally meant to have a slight story element to it, rather than be completely distant from everything. And the developers planned for Laguna Loire from Final Fantasy VIII to appear in the arena as the head of it. But the team was also planning Dissidia 012 Final Fantasy at the same time, and decided that if Laguna appeared in Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep, he couldn't appear in Dissidia 12 Final Fantasy. So they eventually decided that they'd rather have Laguna appear in the latter, so Laguna ended up being left out of this. I haven't found any data of him at all from it, but that's just the way it rolls. What's also kind of fascinating is that in the final mix version of Birth by Sleep, which was originally released on PSP, only in Japan, this edition of it is the first we ever got of it in the West. There were renders for the demo version of Kingdom Hearts 3D in the game data, including models for the Ansem Seeker of Darkness, Xemnas, Sora, Riku and Kairi, as well as some of the demo's logos. So you've got the background Kingdom Hearts logo, and then a 3D demo bit, which is kind of bizarre that that exists, but hey, these things happen. I mean, as you go throughout the development of the game, a lot of stuff changes. I mean, one of the things that's noted on this Wikipedia page is to do with Aqua's design, because there was a whole bunch of issue to do with the back of Aqua's outfit. So until mid-2009, the back was left exposed. So you had sort of that very stereotypical version of the female character wearing so little, whereas obviously the men are pretty much mostly covered. But then they covered up most of Aqua's back, so you just see the upper back exposed, which I think looks better in the long run anyway. But also, Aqua's hair and eyes were originally a dark shade of blue, and they lacked the sheen that her final model ends up with. But once again, I would say that she looks a lot better in the final version than those original ideas. One of the things that I think the Kingdom Hearts franchise has always done really well is using colour, and I think that it would be majorly disappointing if you don't give a character blue hair and then just cheap out by just making it a sort of slightly more reasonable tone. You go full out and make it bright blue. If you're going for the anime influences, you're going for the anime influences, and you might as well stick with it. But yes, I mean, this particular corridor can be a bit a nightmare, really, because you've got the crows. The crows are a nightmare in every single story, but hey, as we run through here, we end up in a boss fight. It's actually a really awesome boss fight, because Ven and Aqua are here to join us.
Terra! Aqua!
And I have to say, like, I'm looking at the different colorations. So the original Trinity Armour was red and black, but for Final Mix, it's a common thing in the Final Mix games that they change the colours of them. It looks so much better as white and red. So much better! And that's awesome. Also, the battle theme is awesome because it's unforgettable. Actually, the title of the track, and I love it. Now, the Trinity Armour is a challenge. You have got Aqua and Ven helping you out. It's basically guard armour from the original Kingdom Hearts game, but it is quite a challenge because it hits hard and it's got a few attacks, namely a laser attack, which it's about to do now actually, which for Terra can be a disaster to try and deal with, because Terra just doesn't have the flexibility. Like, he can't just dodge roll under it or cartwheel like Aqua can. He has to slide, and he is just not fit for dodging out of the way of these things. So you end up in a really difficult situation when he actually starts doing this. Thankfully, you can do things like getting underneath him during that don't cause so many problems. But I have to say, I mean, I think it did take me 2 goes to get through it, but really, that was quite a fun run of the Trinity Armour fight, and I'm very happy with that. And now, Terra, Aqua and Ven, as they provide their final killing blow, are going to have a little conversation, I feel, because a lot's happened to all of them at this point, and I think they need to have a little catch-up before we go any further.
Got him.
We make a good team.
Sure do. Oh yeah, I got you these tickets.
For what?
Lifetime passes to Disney Town. He said to take 2 grown-ups.
You mean us? Listen to me, Ven. We need to get you home.
It's okay, Aqua. Trust me, that guy in the mask is history. He'll never badmouth Terra again.
You saw the boy in the mask?
Yes?
Vanitas. Ven, you let Aqua take you home.
No way. I want to go with you guys.
You can't. We have a dangerous task ahead of us. I don't want you to get hurt.
And what is this dangerous task, Terra? It doesn't sound like what the Master told you to do.
It might be a different route, but I'm fighting the darkness.
I'm not so sure. I've been to the same worlds as you, and I've seen what you've done. You shouldn't put yourself so close to the darkness.
Listen to yourself, Aqua. Terra would never...
You mean you've been spying on me? Is that what he said to do? The Master's orders?
He was only...
Aqua?
I get it.
Terra?
Just stay put! I'm on my own now, alright?
Terra, please, listen! The Master has no reason to distrust you, really. He was just worried.
Master Xehanort is the only one I can still count on.
You must be Terra. It's that old coot. He won't stop asking for you. I came all the way out here to get you, just so he'd clam up.
What do you mean?
Ha! Do I have to spell it out? Xehanort, whatever he's called. You know, my prisoner.
You're apparently not a very good liar. Master Xehanort would never let himself be caught by a thug like you.
As if. I got the old coot at my mercy. See for yourself. I'm holding him underneath the outer gardens. Better show up before I lose my patience. Ciao.
There's no way it's true. But no harm in looking.